Yes, so we finally made it. Hey, this is just the beginning. Oh yeah, look at the alert. Clear road for the boys. Yay!
This is where we will strike. Are you sure about this, Tunde? The gods will be waiting.
The Kingdom of Ajanaku was known across the land for its peace, prosperity, and justice. Its people lived without fear. Traders came from distant kingdoms, and no family went to bed hungry. At the center of this great kingdom ruled King Adewale, a wise monarch whose name was respected far beyond his borders. Beside him stood Queen Morenike, a woman admired for her kindness and wisdom. But the greatest treasure in the palace was not its gold, its priceless bronze artworks, or its magnificent throne. It was their only daughter, Princess Amara. Amara was admired throughout the kingdom for her extraordinary beauty, gentle heart, and humble spirit. Many princes had traveled from distant lands hoping to win her hand in marriage, yet she turned each one away. She always believed that true greatness was found in honesty, not wealth, in character, not titles. One peaceful morning, while the royal court was in session, a palace guard hurried into the throne room. He knelt respectfully before the king. "Your Majesty, a foreign prince has arrived at the palace gates. He humbly requests an audience with Your Majesty." The entire throne room fell silent. King Adewale smiled warmly. "Bring our distinguished guest inside." Moments later, the massive palace gate slowly opened. A handsome young prince dressed in magnificent royal robes walked confidently into the palace. Every step he took reflected confidence and dignity. The palace guards bowed respectfully as he passed. From the royal balcony, Princess Amara watched the mysterious visitor for the very first time. She couldn't explain it, but something about him immediately captured her attention. His calm smile, his confident walk, his respectful manner, everything about him seemed worthy of royalty. What no one inside the palace knew was that the man they had just welcomed with royal honor was not a prince at all. His real name was Tunde, and before arriving at the palace, he had earned his living as a Yahoo boy. The greatest deception of his life had just begun. King Adewale stepped down from his throne with a warm smile and welcomed the young visitor as an honored guest. "My son," the king said, "our palace is honored by your visit. May your stay in Ajanaku bring peace and friendship between our kingdoms." Tunde bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. Your kindness speaks louder than the stories I have heard about your kingdom." The king's face brightened. He admired the young man's confidence and humility. Queen Morenike also smiled with approval. Everything seemed perfect. Then the king turned toward his daughter. "Amara, come and welcome our guest." Princess Amara stepped forward gracefully. The moment their eyes met, everything around them seemed to fade away. Tunde had expected to meet a princess, but he never expected someone so beautiful, gentle, and full of grace. For a brief second, he almost forgot why he had come. Princess Amara smiled warmly. "You are welcome to our kingdom, Your Highness. I hope you will enjoy your stay." Tunde gently bowed his head. "The pleasure is mine, Princess." King Adewale laughed happily. "It is our tradition that important guests are shown around the palace. Amara, you will personally take our guest on a tour." Princess Amara nodded with a smile. "It will be my honor, father." Together, they walked through the magnificent palace corridors. Princess Amara proudly showed him the beautiful gardens, ancient bronze sculptures, royal libraries, and the great halls built by their ancestors. As she spoke about the history of the kingdom, Tunde listened attentively, but behind his calm smile, his eyes noticed something else. The positions of the palace guards, the entrances and exits, the hidden corridors, every detail that could help him carry out his plan. When they finally entered the royal treasure chamber, Tunde stopped in his tracks. Golden crowns, priceless bronze artifacts, ancient royal jewels, carved ivory tusks, beautiful chests filled with gold coins. He had never imagined such wealth existed in one place. Princess Amara smiled proudly. These treasures are not just riches, they are the history of our people. Tunde nodded politely, but deep inside, the Yahoo boy saw something completely different. He saw the biggest opportunity of his life. As they left the treasure chamber, Princess Amara continued talking happily. She never noticed that Tunde quietly looked back one last time, carefully memorizing the path to the royal treasury. The palace believed it was showing its future son-in-law the pride of the kingdom, but the man walking beside the princess was still hiding a dangerous secret. That evening, after the celebrations had ended, Tunde slipped out of the palace. He made his way toward the outer palace garden. Suddenly, 4 figures stepped out from the shadows. Emeka, Seyi, Kola, and Bayo, his old Yahoo boyfriends. Hidden near the palace walls, they watched from a distance. Emeka frowned. Tunde has been here too long. Seyi folded his arms. I hope he hasn't forgotten why we came. Bayo shook his head. We didn't risk everything just to watch him become a prince. Kola looked toward the brightly lit palace. Tomorrow, we remind him about the real mission. As they disappeared into the darkness, Tunde remained completely unaware. The biggest threat to his plan was no longer inside the palace. It had arrived from his own past. The next morning, the royal court gathered once again inside the magnificent throne room. King Adewale rose from his golden throne and looked proudly at Tunde and Princess Amara. A gentle smile spread across his face. My daughter, I have watched the two of you closely. I have seen the respect you have shown each other. I believe the ancestors have brought you together. The entire court became silent. Then the king made an announcement that changed everything. If it is your wish, I would be honored to give Princess Amara's hand in marriage to Prince Malik. Cheers erupted throughout the palace. The chiefs clapped with joy. The queen smiled proudly. Princess Amara lowered her head shyly, unable to hide her happiness. But Tunde could barely breathe. This was never part of the plan. He had come to deceive the palace, not to become part of the royal family. Unable to find the courage to reveal the truth, he accepted the king's blessing. A few days later, the kingdom celebrated one of the grandest royal weddings in its history. Traditional drummers filled the air with joyful rhythms. Dancers performed before thousands of cheering villagers. Songs of celebration echoed through every corner of Ajanaku. Princess Amara stood beside her husband with a heart full of hope. She believed she had married the honest man she had always dreamed of. But beneath Tunde's royal robes, his secret still remained alive. That very evening, after the celebrations had ended, Tunde quietly slipped out of the palace. He made his way toward the outer palace garden. Suddenly, 4 figures stepped out from the shadows. Emeka, Seyi, Kola, and Bayo. Emeka grabbed Tunde by the shoulder. What are you doing? We didn't come here for a wedding. We came for the treasure. Seyi looked around nervously. The palace is asleep. This is our chance. Bayo spoke impatiently. Take us to the treasury. We leave before sunrise. Tunde shook his head. No. Emeka stared in disbelief. What do you mean, no? Tunde looked back toward the palace. They trusted me. They treated me like family. I can't do this anymore. Kola laughed sarcastically. So you've forgotten you're a Yahoo boy? You've chosen a princess over your own brothers? Before Tunde could answer, a soft gasp broke the silence. Everyone turned around. Standing just a few steps away was Princess Amara. Tears filled her eyes. She had heard everything. In that heartbreaking moment, the greatest lie Tunde had ever told finally came crashing down. Princess Amara stood frozen. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at the man she had trusted with all her heart. Her voice trembled. "So, you were never a prince?" Tunde lowered his head. He could no longer hide behind lies. "No, my name is Tunde. I came here to deceive the palace. I came here as a Yahoo boy." Silence filled the garden. Princess Amara's heart shattered. Without another word, she turned and ran toward the palace. The next morning, the entire royal court gathered inside the throne room. The joyful atmosphere that had once welcomed Tunde had disappeared. King Adewale sat quietly on his throne. His face was filled with disappointment. Tunde stood before him with his head bowed. For the first time in his life, he had no excuse, no clever story, no fake identity, only the truth. The king spoke calmly. "You did not only lie to this palace, you betrayed the trust of my family and the love of my daughter." The chiefs shook their heads. The guards tightened their grip on their spears. Princess Amara stood beside her mother, unable to look Tunde in the eyes. The king remained silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke again. "A man who truly repents deserves the opportunity to prove that his heart has changed. I will not sentence you to death. I will not cast you into prison. You will remain in this kingdom. You will return everything you gained through deception, and you will serve the people honestly until your actions speak louder than your lies." Tunde slowly fell to his knees. Tears filled his eyes. "Majesty, I do not deserve your mercy, but I promise I will never return to the life I once lived." Months passed. Every day, Tunde walked alongside the people of Ajanaku. He carried heavy stones to rebuild damaged walls. He asked for nothing in return. From the palace balcony, Princess Amara quietly watched. The proud scammer she had first met was gone. In his place stood a humble man who had finally learned the value of honesty. One bright morning, King Adewale called the entire kingdom together. Standing before the people, he looked at Tunde with a gentle smile. "You have fulfilled your punishment. You have shown this kingdom that true repentance is possible. Today, I forgive you." The crowd erupted into applause. Princess Amara stepped forward. She looked into Tunde's eyes. This time, she did not see a Yahoo boy. She saw a man who chose truth over deception. Tunde bowed respectfully before the king and the people. He understood something that all the money he had chased could never teach him. A lie may open a palace gate, but only honesty can keep it open. And from that day forward, the story of the Yahoo boy who came to scam a kingdom became a lesson told for generations, not as a story about wealth, but as a story of redemption, forgiveness, and the courage to change. If you enjoyed this African folktale and the powerful lesson it teaches, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We're on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers, and your support brings us one step closer to that goal. Let us know in the comments, if you were Princess Amara, would you have forgiven Tunde? Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to watch our next exciting African folktale.